Today marks International Transgender Day of Visibility. Here in central Indiana, Indy Pride held an online celebration, putting on a community talent showcase to mark the day. And for the first time, President Biden issued a proclamation recognizing the day, sending out a message on social media calling on Americans to uplift the worth and dignity of transgender Americans. The president's order comes as members of the transgender community are facing restrictive laws in several states. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker explains tonight.
Across the country, legislation targeting the transgender community is making its way through state legislatures. The American Civil Liberties Union says more than 60 bills are being considered. Most of them fall into two categories: keeping trans girls from participating in girls' sports and restricting young trans people's access to gender-affirming health care. Veronica Pedrell, Indiana's first openly transgender elected official, explains why these bills are harmful.
These kinds of bills that try to disenfranchise and stigmatize trans folks basically make trans kids feel like they don't have much hope in their lives.
Veronica says these bills come from a place that oversimplifies what it means to be transgender.
It's not just something that somebody falls out of the wrong side of bed one day and then decides that they're going to be changing the gender marker on their identification. Every
trans person's journey to living their most authentic life is different. But Veronica says what they don't need are legislative roadblocks. She says these bills are dehumanizing and run counter to last summer's 6-3 Supreme Court decision about LGBTQ+ rights.
The United States Supreme Court made a landmark ruling that Title VII applies to sex broadly in a way that includes gender identity.
What do you say to someone who sees this story and says, what's the other side?
When it comes down to matters regarding health care, there is no opposing health side. When it comes down to these state bills that are attempting to exclude accommodations and access to students, those things are going to fail when they eventually make their way to a Supreme Court contest, because that's already been ruled on.
Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Bills that advocates considered anti-trans in 3 states, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, were signed into law this month and are expected to face legal challenges. Here in Indiana, 2 bills that would have impacted transgender members of our community were filed but have not received hearings. And just today, coinciding with Trans Day of Visibility, State Senator Shelley Yoder proposed an amendment to a House bill that would prohibit charter schools from discriminating on the basis of gender identity, sexual orientation, or marital status.